What is up, everyone? Thank you guys for joining us on this Wednesday. We're technically past halfway through the week. We try and look at things from an optimistic point of view. Got a ton to talk about today. Obviously, a lot's going on with this UNLV situation. Don't want to spend too much time on it, though, because I can't stand having to talk about conference realignment and NIL during the middle of the college football season. But this is one of those situations. It's a DEF CON situation for sure. But we always talk about finding ways to get an advantage betting in sports, trusting the signs. What are you seeing? What are the animals saying? Right? How does it feel outside? But there's other ways, right? It's really going behind the curtain. All right. And Blaine, I got to give you credit. You found this. And the minute that Blaine found out about this, he instantly went and bet Ole Miss to cover against Kentucky this weekend because apparently, allegedly, Jackson Dart has been cheating on his girlfriend for a year and a half. So we actually have footage and a video to show you. Let's go ahead and play that now.
Can't believe he did that.
Yes, he was cheating on me for a little over a year and a half from what I know.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Cover.
Come on.
Cover.
Come on.
16 and a half, David.
He has more
cover.
than one, David. You got to run the RPO.
Do you trust
in
the
all
starting
You're not
quarterback?
taking to Kentucky to cover.
No, hell no.
Because there's
hold on. No, play it again. David still doesn't. Play it again from the top real quick. Play it again from the top, please. Play it again.
There's problems in the relationship.
He was cheating on me for a little over a year and a half.
Can't believe
from what
it.
I know.
Yeah. Lane's got it figured out.
Come on, 16 and a half.
Lane's got it figured out.
Come on.
Listen,
I don't. You can't only have one, David.
Can't.
You want to win a natty or not?
I need to stay out of this.
Listen, David, I'm not the starting quarterback. I'm a monogamous man.
Huh?
But I'm a monogamous man. I've never cheated on my wife, but I'm also not. Yeah, he can read minds. I'm also not the starting quarterback.
See,
for
that's my point. See, the girls, if the girls are seeing this, they're picking Kentucky to cover now. There are problems in the relationship.
Oh no!
And you're always the one saying they're trusting the signs.
Too bad they can't play in the game.
Look, here's what I'm saying. Here's my point: is if Reed's putting together a parlay,
but don't bring. Hold on.
If Reed's putting together one of her famous parlays and she's trusting the signs and she takes Kentucky plus 16 and a half,
David,
are we trusting the signs or aren't we trusting the signs?
David, my wife and your wife both are very familiar with Tuscaloosa, right? They grew up in the waters. They understand. I think maybe the outsider, maybe Justine, who grew up in New Jersey or Charlotte or wherever she's like Carmen Sandiego, you never know where she is. But the starting Q, this makes me feel like now, how many can we score against Kentucky? Because obviously, I mean, Blaine, you said it best.
Revenge tour.
It's revenge tour now.
So this help me understand where the line is, because Deshaun Watson, you're betting against him.
See, that's different.
Yeah. See, you're showing up just randomly naked in rooms. Massage your ass.
That's totally different.
You're the starting quarterback at Ole Miss, buddy.
Yeah.
You should be swimming in it.
Ole Miss by 1,000. Lane's got it right. That guy isn't throwing 5 picks.
No.
Against Cal.
No.
I can promise you.
So
that's
funny.
not Sage's daughter, right?
Huh? No.
Okay.
No. Hey.
I just asked questions.
Whoa.
Because we're hearing a lot.
Whoa. UNLV quarterback Matthew Sluka quits on his team 3 games in, citing unfulfilled NIL commitments from the program. Undefeated UCF hosts Colorado in a sneaky game this weekend. And our buddy Tom Luginbill joins us to preview the rest of college football week 5 and more. I'm Jake Crain, and welcome to Crain & Company. We all knew the NIL era would have an ugly side, and just now we're seeing the ugliest side of it as undefeated Group of 5 playoff hopeful UNLV just had their starting quarterback quit over it. And we do have to make a distinction here between him either not getting paid what he was promised or owed, or asking for more money after a good start and then not getting it. Either way, it's a he said, she said thing right now. But somebody's going to look really bad at the end of this, if not all parties. But the part I just can't get over the most, that irks me to the fullest, is even that if you transferred in this year, how as the starting quarterback you could ever look at your teammates in the eyes again after walking out on them at this point during the season or really any point. I don't understand how the competitor in you doesn't take over and at least says, regardless, we'll handle it after the season, even through litigation if we have to. But these are the guys I've sweat and bled with, and I made a promise to. I'm their leader, and damn it, I'm going to prove it even more now by the way that I play. Let's say you didn't ask for more money, or you did ask for more money and you got turned down. How does the competitor in you not want to go extra hard for your guys to prove it, or understand really how business works? Because you ask for a raise doesn't necessarily mean you always get one. Now, I don't know which of these scenarios is true, but this sets a precedent that is scary for all of college football. We see this in the NFL with holdouts and contract demands all the time, but this isn't the NFL. College football is a big business. We aren't naive. I'm not saying it's not a big business, but for those hanging on to the last bit of so-called purity in the game, this is a knife through the heart. Now, I don't know if you got screwed over or tried to put the screws to UNLV for more, but either way, it feels like college football just crossed another ugly threshold for everyone involved, including us. David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, my brother, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver, Blaine Crain. And David, there's a lot of he said, she said. You have credible people kind of coming out on both sides. The collective and the people who represent them say that $100,000 was never offered to Matthew Sluka, that he went in and asked for more money. And then you have Sluka's agent saying, no, this was a promise that was made. But either way, why would you not get it in writing? And or why would you ever step foot on campus if you didn't get that money that was promised in the first place? I don't understand.
I have many thoughts on this, and this will serve as today's Get Off My Lawn because I'm angry. I've been angry at this story all morning. It's an embarrassment to college football. It's an embarrassment for every single person involved, no matter who is ultimately responsible. And it's an embarrassment for the lack of leadership in college football. Now, because we don't know all the details, like you said, I'm going to try and keep my thoughts as broad as possible because I don't really think the issue here is a group of 5 quarterback at UNLV quitting on the team in the middle of the season. I think of this as more of an indication of where we are as a culture and as a society, because that's what's most concerning to me as someone who's trying to raise kids in this environment. The word I've been thinking about all morning on this is accountability. It used to mean something when you shook another man's hand. It used to mean something when you gave your word and said, here's what I'm going to do. Every lie that you tell someone chips away at the bedrock of civilization, because that trust is what is the bedrock of our civilization. And perhaps that's happening here in this situation at an institutional level. Maybe the program made promises they didn't honor. Maybe it's happening with a coach who lied. Maybe it's his agent. Maybe it's the kid's fault, right? I don't know. I know that you have to stand up for yourself. You owe it to yourself and your family to not be exploited. But I also think that our generation sometimes they don't understand that life is a long game, or at least life can be a long game if you're playing it right. Like, I've never made a single dollar from playing football, not $1 in my life, but I dedicated most of my life to the sport, and look at the opportunities that it's opened up. So I just say, there's going to come a time in every former player's life where they would give every dollar bill in their bank account if they could suit up one more time with their guys, right? If they could go into the huddle with their teammates who end up being lifelong brothers, they would do that one more time, because that's something you can't put a price tag on.
I think you couldn't have put that any better. Blaine, obviously, I've got a feeling I know where you're going to go on this. I'm just to the point where if I feel like this kid played this wrong doing it this way, regardless of what happened, because now I always look at it from a coaching perspective. Matthew Sluka is not going to play in the NFL at quarterback. Maybe it's trying to get a quick money grab because he knows he's not going to play in the NFL as a quarterback. Maybe it'll be a tight end or something, because he does have some ability, but he doesn't throw the ball well enough. And I don't think he can make the jump to throw the ball well enough. But he decided to redshirt, right, which you can only do if you play a certain amount of games, and he obviously hasn't used it. But if I'm a coach of another team and I look and I say, you're a 43% passer from a completion percentage, and you are willing, regardless of situation, to quit on your team that has a chance to make the playoffs still. UNLV is, especially with Memphis losing to Navy, why would I ever bring you into my locker room regardless of where I'm at in my program, because if you're willing to quit on this, what else are you going to be willing to quit on if something doesn't go your way? I feel like the kid made a mistake.
Would you quit? Okay. And we don't know the truth of this, so who said what on what side, but would you quit if someone offered you a bunch of money, you came here, you worked for 4 weeks, you asked, and they didn't pay you the money? Would you just keep working?
No, because I wouldn't have came unless I had something signed on paper.
Yeah,
because I'm not a dumb.
So I don't think it's. I think I wouldn't blame. I would blame the people around this quarterback.
Well,
they failed him. His agent failed him. His parents failed him. Because I agree with you, he shouldn't have set foot on this campus until something was written on a piece of paper. Now, would I be surprised if a coach said something to him about a certain amount of money that he never saw? I'm not surprised if a coach tried to cash a check that a collective wouldn't do. I'm not surprised by that. So I think there's fault on both sides here. But I do think if this kid was promised this, okay, it just puts him in a tough situation, because at the end of the day, if you're promised, we don't live, this isn't 15 years ago. This isn't 10 years ago, 5 years ago, hell, even last year. Kids are getting paid now. And I wouldn't be surprised.
They've been getting paid.
Yeah, true. On the table, I wouldn't be surprised the amount of verbal agreements that are out there about money.
Well, if there's been so many examples, and again, I don't think what you're saying is crazy to a lot of people that are younger or in a different generation. I don't think what you're saying is nuts or that you're even wrong. But again, how many times in the history of business has somebody made a verbal contract to somebody and backed out of it or screwed them over? This is not a new thing. If that's what happened, again, I don't want to act like I know exactly what happened, because it's he said, she said, whatever. But I'm going to go back to the decision that he made. You want a red shirt, which means you want to transfer after this, because there's no going back to UNLV. I don't think you're going to go to a place that's better than UNLV after this, and I don't think anybody would take you there. So why not say, you know what? I was promised this, and I'm not getting it. I'll play the rest of the season. I'll play as hard as possible. I'm going to go prove to you how much I'm worth. And at the end, if I don't get paid, if I have ground to stand on legally, that I can go back and say, all right, well, now I'm going to sue you. That's what I would do. Not quit on the team 4 games in. Because to me, it's just a bad decision for him to make this decision. Maybe it was a bad decision in not getting in writing. It was, if that's the case of what happened. Was it a bad decision by whatever coach told him? If that's what happened, that they were going to give him money? Yes. But I feel like this is the worst decision. Like, you got so upset you made the worst decision possible. Because if you did have something concrete that was in writing, that was set up and stable, and UNLV was not honoring their commitment, at the end of the year, that's fine. I will sue you to the point where it goes from UNLV to Sluka NLV. That's what it'll be. But obviously, that's not the case. That's why I think it may have been hey, we're going to give you this, whatever. That is a bad life decision. That is a stupid business decision. And to me, it's not good. I think it makes UNLV look scummy if that's the case. But take this as a lesson. It's like on heavyweights when they go to the fat camp and they're sitting down at the opening orientation and the 2 old people come out and say, oh no, we had to sell the camp. And then the guy comes back and says, don't let anybody else sign your checks. This is a life lesson for this kid. If this is what happened, you don't just believe somebody, especially nowadays in 2024, when they promise you something. I'm the Holy Cross quarterback. You want me to come to UNLV? You promised me $100,000. Okay, write that up. Let's get a contract. I'll read the contract. My agent, my lawyer, my parents will read the contract. I want that money wired in to my account the minute I sign to play there and step on campus. And that's not what he did. So again, everybody looks bad. College football in general looks bad. But to me, this was a bonehead decision that was just compounded with an even stupider decision by this person.
I think it's bonehead decision on both sides.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a bonehead decision. The two things can be true at once. It's outlandish to me to think that this number just magically got made up.
Yeah,
right?
The 100,000 to 3,000, like something's already off.
Yeah, there's no way like this, that difference in between numbers.
So would it shock you though if it turned out, and again, we're just running this ground ball out, that UNLV starts like this, right? You beat Kansas, you're looking good, And this quarterback's looking around. He's seeing how much money Peyton Thorne's making at Auburn to be terrible. All these other quarterbacks that are making all this money. And he goes, you know what? I'm worth way more than what y'all are paying me. I'm going to go into the coach's office because I have the leverage because I'm the starting quarterback. And I'm going to ask for more money.
And we just hope not.
I don't think. David, I hope not, but that's not out of the realm of possibility.
This is all on the institution. They promised $100,000. They're at $3,000. The other side of this report is that UNLV has completely fulfilled its obligations and that he is coming in and he's trying to leverage a 3-0 start. Man, I hope not. And if it's you brought up a really interesting point with the legal standing because, why even take a snap if you hadn't been paid? But to Blaine's point, maybe you're getting strung along and finally you had enough 4 weeks in and you quit the team. I wonder if there would be more legal standing if you finished out the season, right? And you have that because a lawsuit's coming. If you were promised something and didn't get it, a lawsuit's coming.
It's coming.
Even if there's no contract, because you can have an oral contract. There won't be any proof of it, but a contract was made if that's the case. But to your point on whether or not he's trying to leverage a 3-0 start, let's just hope not, because that's, to me, is really the worst possible scenario.
I agree.
In this. And let me tell you another reason why. He spent 4 years at Holy Cross, and this is a 5th year already. He played 4 years. Mm-hmm. So a red shirt wasn't used. You're already using a 5th year. You'd be taking such a gamble on the NCAA to be able to green light a red shirt year, which at this point, that's another problem. Are we just going to let kids play as many seasons as they want now?
And two things, and I'm going to get to the chat because I know you guys are buzzing, and the phone line's going to open at 2:45 p.m. Central. It's 1-855-236-3228. Please hit that subscribe button as well if you're here. I also think if you play the rest of the season out and y'all play really well, let's say y'all go undefeated. Let's say y'all make the playoff. You think UNLV ain't going to fork over $85,000? You know how much money you get paid to play in the college football playoff, or the amount of money that'll be brought in by you playing well? They'll probably give you more.
You think so?
I think
you think it's just a cash flow?
Well, no, I don't think that's. But I'm not even looking at it from a UNLV doesn't have the money. I'm looking at it from, all right, you promised me this, you haven't given me to it yet. You're stringing me along. Say you're not going to pay it, whatever. That's fine. When we're 12-0, you think you got them by the balls now? Let's say we're 12-0, and I'm playing great. The team's winning. We're all in this together. UNLV's hotter than it's ever been. Right? More people are showing up to the games, buying tickets, buying merch. We're selling hot dogs left and right, whatever. They'll find a way if you're worth. I'm almost wondering if this is kind of a negative look for the ability of the player, because if he was worth it to them and he came in and was like, well, I think I need a little bit more money, or y'all need to pay me the rest of the money you said you're going to pay me. If you're worth it to me and I'm the head coach, I'm getting on the phone.
Yeah.
We're going to get you the money.
Which it shouldn't come to that. No. It should be like what I said. It should be when you looked a man in the eye and shook his hand. How did you say?
How did you get him to UNLV?
But on the details of the actual X's and O's of football, to Jake's point, people have been asking me for a couple of weeks, do I think UNLV will be the group of 5 contender in the college football playoff? And I said, I don't know. I don't think they throw it well enough.
I know.
But they're a run-first team with a quarterback whose completion percentage is under 50%. Don't let the other kid come in and play better.
Oh, the kid from the Campbell Camels?
Yeah. Don't let him come in and play better.
What if he completes?
Even though that's not what this is about.
No.
That's not what this is about. But the reality of the situation is UNLV's still undefeated and they're a run-first team. They're still X's and O's.
Well, don't come out on Saturday and get absolutely ran by Fresno State.
And this is the worst possible time to play
ran by Fresno State.
Oh, nobody's licking their chops more than Fresno.
And they're not a bad football team. Man.
No, but I tell you what's not a bonehead decision. Maybe you got a couple other sports books already, right? You dibble and dabble. Hopefully you're in a place where you can legally bet. Should be legal across the board, but that's a story for another day. If you don't have Bet Online in your arsenal, you're blowing it, to be honest with you. So I need to head over to betonline.ag to place your bets today. And if you use promo code BOOSTER, you get a 50% sign-up bonus of up to $250. They've got all the spreads, props. The parlays are easy to put together, the teasers, they got everything. And it's not just sports. You can bet on anything under the sun. If there's a bet to be made, that bet will be on betonline.ag. Hell, it's in the name. So head over to betonline.ag today. Use that promo code BOOSTER for that 50% sign-up bonus of up to $250. And again, it doesn't hurt to have more arrows in your quiver, dog. Again, if you've rolled with a sportsbook for a long time, add this one to it, diversify that portfolio. And I mean, my brother's won like $30,000 the past couple weeks off of them. So it's a good situation.
Yeah, they might pull the sponsor out.
To be winning money. Bet online, where the options are endless, and so is the fun. All right, let's get to the chat, and let's get past this.
All right, chat, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate, it's on topic. It will get read. Glad to see all y'all in here. We're going to start off with Chad. What's up, Chad? Okay, I'm obviously old school because I view this kid as a loser, and he's got a loser mentality, letting down his team, coaches, fans, and ultimately himself.
Well, I think you let yourself down when you don't get it in writing. This is why, gentlemen, I'm hoping that when we go to this breakaway college football society of super leaguedness, or whatever they call it, that you're going to have your collectives and all that stuff, but it is mandated that to receive any money in name, image, and likeness, there has to be a contract, or when you sign to play at one of the institutions, and we have this with letters of intent, at one of the institutions in this Super League, you are agreeing to whatever the rules are at that place or overall when it comes to NIL. Because the way to clean this up is the way you clean up anything, to the most part. I mean, you can dispute contracts or whatever, but we need to have stuff, this shaking hands and like, verbal agreements, and I know you can have oral agreements and all that, but it's a lot easier when I can go, yeah, we signed a contract. This is my name. This is their name. This is the amount of money I'm supposed to get, and there's our signatures, guys.
But even when that happens, and I think that's going to happen, it's going to become much more like the NFL. Even when that happens, you still have guys holding out all the time. They sign a 5-year contract and they sit out after their 4th year because they want more money and they want to sign a new contract. So you're gonna see that aspect.
How good you playing? Like that's because again, and this is, but like even the fact that that's going to bleed down to college, Dave. I mean, that just. It sucks.
Well,
man.
you opened this.
Well, you opened it with no rules, just like you did the transfer portal. That's why when both of these hammers dropped and they just let it out of the box with no rules, we were like, this is building the parachute on the way down on this one ain't the way to go about it. And and there's going to be problems. There's always problems, even in the cleanest of the cleanest. But I feel like the way you rolled this thing out, because NIL, I go back to the collectives thing, man. I thought name, image, and likeness was if Bryce Young at Alabama wants to get name, image, and likeness money from Dr. Pepper, then Bryce Young's people called Dr. Pepper's people, and they set up a deal. The school's not involved. I'm almost to the point now.
But even the school paying you, again, as free market people, like we're all in favor of the free market, right? Like if your skill set, if Ole Miss wants your skill set and UNLV and Alabama want your skill set, and they can all compete against each other. They have billions of dollars coming down from the ESPN television contracts or the Fox television contracts. Again, the free market, I'm all fine. Most people, and the person who sent that comment there, who's an old school football purist, I guarantee you he's still fine with the idea of a guy utilizing his skill set to be able to get paid.
I am too.
But there's this group of people who are the get your money crowd, right? Who comment on a lot of these posts when stories like this come out. Almost always, I don't believe they actually played football. I don't think they were in the locker room. I don't think they were in the huddle. Because to your point earlier, and a little bit of what I was saying too, the grand scheme of life, man, let's say it's you were owed $100,000, you were $200,000 instead of $100,000. That $100,000 at a 20-year-old kid, I understand, that's a lot of money, man. You can build for the future on that. But in the grand scheme of life, $100,000, that's a fraction of your overall earning potential. If you stick with your teammates, if you stick with a program, if you do the right things in life, I understand not being taken advantage of because that can be a bad precedent in your life as well. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying sometimes, man, it's better to follow through on your word.
Like, how could you trust your coaches?
If
keep playing for those guys if they told you they're going to give you $100,000 and lied to your face.
If that's what happened, like that's tough, right? If it was an oral thing, but the contract you signed says $3,000. Again, what exactly did you sign? At least with the Rashada situation, we had the contract, right?
Well, and I get the coach's part. You're right. But to me, if it's going to boil down to, I'm gonna play for those guys in the locker room. That's what I'm going to do because we're the ones that are going to go out there and play, and the cream's going to rise to the top. If they're sitting here lying to players all the time, it's going to catch up with them, with everybody eventually. But I'm going to go out and ball, and one of two things are going to happen. Either you're going to pay me that money, because I'm going out there and balling to help put us in this situation and you need me, or you decide to not pay me that money, all the players know that you lied to me, which means that they'll think you're going to lie to them, and then I'm going to sue your ass. That's what's going to happen. I just don't think the way that he decided, I'm out, I'm redshirting doing this, I don't think that was the smart move. I think you compounded a bad problem by making a really, really bad decision. But let's get one more from the chat, and then let's move on.
Let's go to Trace Moore. What's up, Trace? He says, my mom didn't take me to Disneyland when she promised. I'm running away. NIL is getting out of hand, and I hope you get to meet y'all boys this weekend at Ennis, and I do not like the way this quarterback handled this situation.
Yep. All right, let's move on here. David, let's get into a little rapid fire and talk about some of these games.
All right. First thing up here, I did want to talk about Brett Favre for a second. He discussed that he was recently diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Kind of unfortunate news there.
Yeah, that's it's a tough deal. Brett Favre, and there's been a lot of controversy, obviously, surrounding Brett Favre and certain things that have gone down. But just hearing this, a guy that, doesn't matter what else is going on. He was a hell of a player to watch, and I don't wish, this on many people. And it's something that it's tough to see, man, because, again, Brett Favre was somebody in my childhood I grew up idolizing, and Parkinson's, while they've made great strides in this area medicinally, it's still a devastating disease. I know people in the audience probably have family members or know somebody that's affected by this. It's just a tough situation, and praying for him and his family.
Next one up, I meant for this to be my worst for the NFL this past weekend, but I want to get to it now. Mercury Morris, the great running back for the Miami Dolphins, the undefeated team in 72. He died at 77. Obviously, I grew up a Dolphins fan because my dad was. He used to interview Mercury Morris all the time in the Larry Zonka, Jim Kick, Paul Warfield days. So really disappointing news that he passed away.
Yeah, it's just tough. Again, a life well lived, though. I mean, you talk about getting the most out of life, getting all the juice out of the squeeze, and he did so much other than just play football. It's a tough loss for not only the football community, but for everybody, because, when good people go, it's tough, but you can always look back and for guys like Mercury and say, you left the world a better place than you found it.
You talk about thunder and lightning. Imagine having Mercury Morris on the outside, Larry Zonka on the inside, and you still had Jim Kick, too.
Yeah, it's just say it's a good situation.
No wonder they went undefeated. All right, Lane Kiffin came out and blasted Hugh Freeze. What happened on this?
Blaine commented on this on social media. Lane Kiffin, and I need to I'm going to find the exact quote here. But I will say, and people are like, oh, well, Lane hasn't won as much as Steve Spurrier, and he hasn't, right? I'm not saying that, but when it comes to just not being afraid to say anything, they do go about it in a little bit of different ways. But Lane Kiffin, they talked about Hugh Freeze, and Lane said, well, he'll try and steal one of the Grove NIL staff like he's tried to steal all of our coaches. Me and Blaine are a little bit different here, and Blaine, obviously, you get to say your piece. But, I really don't mind this. I don't mind this. Lane, look, this is who Lane is. I mean, it's not surprising that he would say it. But if you don't want to get talked about bad, why don't you go out there and start winning? And then you start talking. Because I think Lane's the type dude, say what you want. He knows he can dish it, but he can take it, too. It's like he went on Feinbaum, was like, hey, man, we'll go head-to-head on this after what you've said about me and some things in the past. So I don't mind it as much as other people. But if you don't want to be made fun of, do something about it. Just don't, and again, people handle stuff different ways. Some people like it, some people don't. I really don't have a problem with it.
Well, the thing about it, whenever I make a comment about anybody saying anything about Auburn, they immediately go and attack me about Auburn. I don't care about Auburn in this situation at all. What you say will not hurt me, buddy. Auburn hadn't sent me a check yet. What I do care about is this Ole Miss football team, because I think y'all are good enough to win a national championship this year, and I think y'all have the biggest game of the season so far in 3 days. I don't think Lane Kiffin should be talking about probably a 3-9 Auburn team about whatever Hugh Freeze does. I wouldn't hear Saban saying this. I wouldn't hear Kirby Smart saying this, or the top dogs in college football saying this. I know Lane is Lane. Okay, but sooner or later, man, we have to get locked into what we have in front of us, and that is a good Kentucky team coming to our place in a game we have to win. So to me, I know Lane is Lane, but I'd rather see Lane a little bit more locked into what he has to get done Saturday.
Well, see, here's where I disagree with you. Lane always has done this, and his teams have obviously been very locked in, especially over the past couple of years in Oxford. But isn't this? I think sometimes, this kind of helps your team because you're being you. Like we always talk about genuine coaches, right? Being genuine. This is who he is. I don't think any Ole Miss player or fan is worried that Ole Miss is not going to be prepared for Kentucky because Lane responded to a question that was asked to him about somebody else. I think this is, kind of like you saw the Josh Heupel video in the locker room after the game, just being himself, and guys go about it in different ways. I think this is, I would actually be more worried about Lane if he just stopped saying stuff.
How is this like Josh Heupel?
Just being genuine. Like Josh was like, listen, this game wasn't about me, but I appreciate y'all having my back on
that video.
They gave him the game ball. I'm not saying Lane and Josh are totally different people, but to the players, they're like, yeah, that's my coach. It's Wednesday. Lane said something in the press conference, trashing somebody.
It's just a distraction.
I see with Lane though. I think this is status quo. I think it would be a distraction if Lane Kiffin came out and said, "You know what? I'm not saying anything or trolling anybody on the internet." People would be like, "What's wrong?"
But no, we're focused on what we have to get done Saturday. What big game has Lane Kiffin won as head coach of Ole Miss?
I mean, he's won.
Is this not the best roster Ole Miss has ever had?
Wait, so this is the game? The game against Kentucky?
Well, this is the season.
This is the toughest opponent you play. This is the best roster you have ever had.
So I change who I am?
Let's just limit distractions.
Okay, and again, that's a very old school. I'm surprised you're on this side, and I'm on that side.
I get it, like Joey. Let's just make sure we have a tunnel vision of what we have to get done Saturday. I just don't think, and I know the question got asked, but I just don't think we should be talking about a 3-9 Auburn team. We have a pretty damn good Kentucky team coming home.
Hey,
I think you're using pretty damn good a little bit.
Growing up before our eyes.
He is.
He's growing up.
I tell you,
I want to see Lane win some.
I love it. I think you both make great points on that one, though. All right, let's talk about UCF hosting Colorado. Line's minus 16 right now. A lot of points. 64.5 over under.
So I look at that line, and this is what it always comes down to with Colorado. Is UCF that much better than they are up front on both sides of the ball? And if the answer is yes, then that line makes sense, right? I could see a way in which that line makes sense. I've just watched UCF, and I know KJ Jefferson is a refrigerator on roller skates that's tough to tackle, and he's going to go all out in this one, and Gus is going to utilize him. I know UCF brought in a ton of guys through the transfer portal on defense, and I've watched them. I watched them against TCU. UCF may be better than Colorado. Overall, they probably are. I just don't feel like they're that much better up front for the line to be that high unless somebody isn't playing or they're hurt or something like that. Because say what you want, UCF may have gotten a little bit better on defense, but I think Colorado can score points against these guys. And I watched UCF earlier in the year, right? And even a lot of that TCU game struggle to kind of get it going offensively and take care of the ball. So I think UCF wins the game. They're coming off that high of the comeback against TCU. I get it, who just got drilled by SMU. Please turn it around, Rhett. Please turn it around. I just don't know if the line is where it should be on this one, but it almost makes me nervous because the line that high in this case, they got to know something that maybe I'm not privy to.
I mean, Blaine, UCF beat TCU 35-34. Mm-hmm. I mean, have you seen any separation in the Big 12 right now that makes you think that minus 16 is right?
No, at all. Colorado's going at plus 425 right now on the money line. And 1-4 odds in this game, I would love to take that bet. What from UCF, especially, I mean, offensively, they struggle. They're slowly getting going. But right now, this Colorado offense is rolling. And I don't think
with a bad O-line.
With a bad O-line. I mean, I know the run game's non-existent in Colorado, but it seems to be working. You're playing good against quality teams, and I think that'll transfer. There's not a defense in this game that I trust, right? You trust UCF's defense?
I don't.
I don't trust Colorado's defense, but I do know that KJ's a pretty good player. I know Shadur Sanders, what he is, and I know what you have with Travis Hunter. I don't think this game's a 14.5-point spread.
Yeah, and I wish Tom Luginbill was here. Oh, wait. Lugs is here. What is up, dude?
Boys, how we doing?
Doing
up,
good.
man?
I feel like it's been so long, man. It's I know you just got done with the red bandana game up in Boston College, but please, this UCF Colorado game, we want to get to some others with you. But I mean, God, that number just feels high, Tom. It just I don't know, just instinctually, it kind of feels high to me. What do you think?
I do think it feels a bit high, but I also think what's gotten glossed over is Baylor's a bad football team.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado was down, 28-10 at one point against Baylor, or 24-10? I'm not sure exactly
something
what the
like
number
that.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so maybe they're looking at that coupled with the fact that they kind of like UCF. And to me, I think eventually Colorado is going to have to come up with some way of figuring out how to run the football, even just competently. Because I don't know if you can run the rest of that gauntlet of the schedule that they've got, which is more difficult than the one they played last year in the Pac-12, being that one-dimensional. Remember, and I don't know if you guys saw, Deion kicked his team off the field today, and probably deservedly so, basically telling them, you guys have proven nothing. You got a gift last weekend. You had one fall in your lap. Quit acting like you beat somebody that was really good and told them to start practice over again. Because I think he knows, the margin of error for them is so slim.
Well, Tom, is it something where, and we talked about this with you in the offseason. We had a bunch of Colorado fans like, we're going to be so much better up front. Look at all these transfers. They're still really bad on the offensive line. Defensive lines actually played a little bit better than what I thought they were. I do want to say that after the opening week against North Dakota State, I think they've kind of figured some things out. But if you're Colorado, do you say, listen, there's just no way that we're going to be able to run the ball traditionally? Do we just supplement with the quick pass game outside? I mean, is it something where we start motioning guys and throwing swings and orbit motions and spitting the now screen and spitting the bubble or whatever? Because, dude, Shadur is getting killed back there, man. It just killed.
Yeah. Well, the conversation you're referencing with the four of us this summer was me saying don't confuse movement with progress.
Yeah.
Just because you shuffled a bunch of other guys out and brought a bunch of other guys in, we don't know yet if you got any better, right?
Yeah.
To this point, it doesn't look like they got much better. So, do I think they need to have some built-ins? Some stuff that are just, he takes it if it's there, and it's always built in? Probably so, yeah. But I watch that team, and sometimes I feel like they're really good in all the spots that don't matter for winning football games, right?
That's a good point.
If you took – except for the quarterback spot.
Quarterback, yeah.
Except for the quarterback spot. But if you said, all right, we're going to take away Travis Hunter off of that team and Webster off of that team and Horn off of that team, and we're going to give you in turn Peter Woods, Caden Proctor, and Michael Williams. You do it in a heartbeat.
I think you would have to.
You would have to, given the state of that roster right now. Because, guys, let's be honest. And if you took number 2 and number 12 off of that football team, they're a 1-11 team.
Yeah.
Like, Tom, Travis Hunter, say what you want about Travis Hunter.
Like, and it's not college football.
He's the best overall player. That play on the goal line. We talk about guys like, I think some people think there's a softness about. There ain't nothing soft about that dude. I mean, he put his hat on the ball, on the goal line. He just makes football winning plays.
If they go 3-9, 4-8, he's still the best player in college football.
I agree. Could you win the Heisman on a 4-8 team?
It's never been done before, to my knowledge. I think it would be very, very difficult. But the thing that he has going for them is they've been highly publicized every weekend.
Yeah.
So people see him all the time. And that's part of my Heisman formula is pretty simple. You got to be a great player on a great team. You got to play your best performances against the best teams on your schedule. That game has to be played no further west than the Central Time Zone. Because you cannot win a Heisman Trophy out west in the box score. It's been proven over the last 30 years. Mm-hmm. If you count Ty Detmer and Rashawn Salam, and there have been 7 players that have won the Heisman Trophy out west, and 3 of them went to USC. Yeah. So there's a formula for winning the Heisman, but the formula generally includes a championship caliber team, and I'm not so sure it would need to for him.
Yeah. I think he'll be a finalist no matter how bad their record is, provided he plays at this level for the same reasons that you mentioned.
It doesn't get hurt.
Yeah. That's the thing. We saw that a year ago, and let's hope not. Tom, UNLV's undefeated right now. They're some people's favorites to be the Group of 5 contender, and now their quarterback, Matthew Sluka, is leaving the team. You know, we've all said our piece here, so I want you to jump in. If you have any inside information or if you know details that we don't, please feel free to update us on that. If not, and you know what we know, which is the kid is saying the program didn't honor commitments that they made, and the school's saying, yes, we did. He's trying to leverage us for more money. Then what are your thoughts up to this point?
So listen, first off, if you didn't see this coming, you're walking around with half a brain, and it won't be the last time. Wait till a position group tries to do it. Wait till 3 receivers decide, well, wait a minute. We are way more productive than that group over there. We're not playing this. Right? I mean, what's happened, guys, is when you go out and bring a bunch of hired mercenaries in and things don't go well, what is their loyalty and allegiance to the football team and to the football program? They have none. And why would he? He just got there in July, right? And he went there because he thought he was getting money, not because he thought UNLV was going to compete for a college football playoff spot, right? So I'm unbelievably frustrated by this. Number one, I cannot imagine this kid thought that this would blow up in his face the way that it has.
Yeah,
I don't think he ever saw this.
And I don't think you can put this one back in the box, bud.
You can't. You ain't putting this face back in the tube. Secondly, who in the world is representing this kid?
Yeah.
Would you buy a house without it being in writing?
No, Tom, that was my whole point. It's crazy.
What are you doing? And for the collective arm of UNLV to come out and say, we've never talked to one of his representatives. Matt Sluka's got to be looking at Marcus Cromartie saying, you never talked to this group? Like, where was something in writing in print to say, hey, once you enroll, here's your contract?
Yeah. All right, I'm coming.
That is absolute insanity. I mean, it really is. And you know what? And I don't know how you guys feel, and I'm older than all of you on that set. But did it have to come to this point? Like, could it have not been a scenario where I'm assuming what we've heard so far is the truth, and so far it's been mostly one-sided until this afternoon when UNLV came out and had a statement. But could it have not gotten to the point where you work together and you say, hey, listen, this isn't right, and if I have to take legal action, I will. I don't want it to come to that. My job is to play football here. Let's figure out a resolution.
Yeah. Right?
I mean, did it have to get to this point? Because now, like you said, you're not putting the genie back in the bottle. And what now happens to the kid, right? Because nobody's going to want to touch him probably.
That's what I said earlier, too.
What happens to the UNLV program in the recruiting space, in the transfer portal space, if now the word's out there that UNLV doesn't hold up their end of the bargain? Whether that's true or not, perception's 9/10 reality, right? So it's a whole big, giant mess, but we deserve it, guys.
Yeah.
We absolutely deserve it.
Well, we don't.
We've allowed this to happen.
Yeah. The lack of leadership who gave this to us does.
And I think a lot of it's going to swing either way depending on who wins that game Saturday. I really think
Syracuse?
Fresno.
Oh, yeah, they got Fresno. Then they got Syracuse the following week.
Yeah.
And they're now starting a quarterback that played for the Campbell Camels in North Carolina.
Hump up. Let's get it. Tom,
and by the way, real quick, let's not forget this. Do you know he's completing 43.8% of his passes?
Yes, they're a run-first team. That's what I said. Don't let the backup quarterback come in and play better.
No, if it was Cam Ward, I would have gone to him and said, hey, can we give you more money?
This just smells like, to me at least, is some assistant coach or somebody recruiting him said something to him that the school couldn't cash. Because you had to get him on UNLV. You had to get him on campus somehow.
Yeah.
You had to get him
on campus. But how dumb are you to do something like that without saying, can I please see the contract?
Hey, what's that?
I'm not saying that on the kid. If you have representation, what's representation do?
Everybody failed this kid.
Sir, this is better than money. Yeah. It's an IOU.
That's an IOU, Tom.
That's an IOU
That's
right there.
$250,000.
That's an IOU. Tom, I do want to ask you, again, I hate we have to talk about this in the middle of college football season, but this Alabama-Georgia game, obviously massive. Right now, I'm leaning Bama in it. I worry about Georgia's ability to create explosive plays offensively. Not as much worried about Georgia stopping the run. I don't worry about Kirby's defense like I don't worry about Lincoln's offense in the grand scheme of things. Where are you at on this game right now?
Well, number one, Georgia's got to get back to running the football. They didn't run the football effectively against Kentucky. And Alabama ain't Kentucky on defense. And everything about Georgia is running the football and then taking shots off of play action. They're as good, if not better, than anybody in college football when they are in rhythm, in sync, and they're dictating terms to the defense. So that's number one for Georgia here. I do agree to some degree that creating explosives to the level that Alabama is capable of is probably not comparable here. But part of the reason why that is you don't have the run element out of Carson Beck. Doesn't mean that they can't create
that's
them.
That's true.
Yeah, Alabama creates them in two ways, through the air and with that guy's feet. So, when I look at Jalen Milroe, he's probably pound for pound the most dynamic athlete on the field. In one defense, Georgia has to defend quarterback run and creative plays, and the other defense, Alabama, doesn't have to do that. I think that it's hard to put a dollar amount on that when you know where the quarterback is going to be. If I'm Georgia and I'm looking at the strengths of Jalen Milroe, I think sometimes you got to take some risks in coverage to account for him taking off on you. Because sometimes the worst thing that can happen is you got everybody covered down
and then he goes.
And you have nobody to account for him.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Well, and we said in our preview on Monday, which everybody needs to go check that out, a lot of people have, is that to me, and it's not an oversimplification, the margin for error in this game is very small. It's going to come down to 3 to 5 plays like it typically does. But if I'm Kane Womack, Alabama's defensive coordinator, right now in this space and time with this Georgia team, I have less to worry about than if I'm Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart trying to stop Alabama's offense with that run and throwing element that you just brought up. So that in itself, with the game being at home, and again, I think we are seeing, not that nobody knew this, and not that Georgia has bad players. I think Dominic Lovett's a good player. Oscar Delp's a good player. Yeah. They've recruited their ass off for a long time. They've got really good players. But this game, to me, when you look at those 3 to 5 plays, I feel like Alabama is probably going to be able to make 3 or 4 out of those 5 big plays, and Georgia's going to have to become somewhat one-dimensional. And Blaine brought up a point, and you talked about it. Georgia's having to throw the ball right now, way more.
Team. And we're not used to seeing that. Like we're used to seeing a smash mouth football downhill, get after your ass Georgia offense. And right now, we're slowly watching Georgia turn into a finesse offense.
Well, in Georgia defensively, and this has been glossed over, nobody's talking about it. Michael Williams has not played since the Clemson game. Nasir Johnson's been injured. Warren Brinson has been injured. They're trying to rotate guys in a defensive front and have been playing for the last 2.5 weeks without their best players. They need those guys back this weekend, in my opinion, for them to be at full strength and handle a guy like Jalen Milroe. I'll give you an interesting little nugget, though, as I was going through this, because one of the things that Jalen Milroe does so well is throw the deep ball, right? He's a great vertical ball thrower, as Michael Penix Jr. was. What he doesn't do so well is throw to the short and intermediate areas, particularly to the right side of the field. So he's completing upwards of high 60s, low 70s, in some portions of the field, up to 80% of his passes. To the right, he's completing 55.
Why do you think that is? I see your throwing side.
Well, to use a baseball term, those are like having reverse splits. That's like hitting better as a righty against righty pitchers than you do against lefty. It's typically the other way.
I'll tell you from my point of view, and Tom, you can answer this too if you'd like, is when you're throwing to the left as a right-handed quarterback, your body's already closed, right? You're already closed off. So when you throw to the left, that's the natural way. To throw to the right, you have to go get more closed, or else you're already throwing open. So when you see Matt Stafford as a right-handed quarterback hitting guys on the shallow cross to his right and his body's already open, that to me is incredible.
Well, look where first base is.
Because I was like, if you said you have to hit a 10 and out, you have to hit a 10 and out right now on third down, I would rather throw it to my left because my body was already closed. So that's an interesting stat.
Yeah, interesting.
I always threw the backside slant, the 10 to 12 yard speed cut out, and the bang 8 post to my left.
Way better.
More consistently and accurate than I threw it to my right side.
Interesting.
You talk about things you can only get at Crain and Company. And that's one of them right there. All right, we got some questions for Around the Nation, Lou. We're going to start off with the Crib 305. says, Luke, I really need to know right now, is Cam Ward your leader for Heisman, and what has he looked bad at so far this year?
He's not my leader. Travis Hunter is. He's a one. There's a 1 and 1A. He's 1A. They haven't had to leave the state of Florida. They haven't had to play great personnel, but they haven't played down to the level of their competition, and he's made it look easy. At times, guys, he almost looks bored.
I literally said, Tom, I literally opened the show without yesterday, and Blaine was the one. The first time we were watching Miami play against Florida, and Blaine looks like, dude, he doesn't even look like he's having fun. Like he's just playing against little kids.
Yeah, he's just, and I worry a little bit about that. The problem is they don't play Clemson during the regular season. I'm going to tell you right now, Clemson's a problem.
They are a problem.
Right? But they don't play them during the regular season. So I'm trying to look at the schedule with a disappointing Virginia Tech, ironically this week, a disappointing NC State, trying to look at the schedule and figure out who's going to create problems for them. They have fixed their penalty problem. They have fixed their discipline problem. And the quarterback was the missing piece of the puzzle after revamping the offensive and defensive front each of the last 2 years.
Well, it's amazing how much better you look when young guys can grow when you're not playing Georgia. It just like it's amazing how much better I look when I'm not standing next to Ryan Gosling.
Hey, he was a liability.
Hey,
he was a liability.
Ryan Gosling was a liability at corner. All right, you brought up Clemson. Let's go to Jacob Shockley. He wants to know, don't believe our week 1 performance against Georgia. Lugs, what do you think now? Do you think Clemson will be good enough to make the playoffs this year?
Love that question.
Oh, they're absolutely good enough to make the playoff this year. Now, I had the App State game. I watched it. You think the first half was bad against NC State? Go back and watch the App State game. But here was the difference. And I withheld judgment until I saw the NC State game because we haven't seen it before, and I need to see consistency. I don't need to see a blip on the radar. When you watch the tape versus Georgia, there was indecisiveness, a lack of anticipation, a lack of confidence. He looked like he didn't trust what he was saying, Cade Klubnik, that is. And as a result of all of those things I just listed, he was always a half second off, always a half second late. The last 2 games they have played, he has been the complete and total opposite. He has anticipated. He has been decisive. He's trusted it. Get the ball in his hand lightning quick. Oh, no, by the way, since those 2 true freshman receivers have been playing, all the other guys that played like crap against Georgia are playing lights out now.
Yeah,
they
it's
got the
amazing.
message real quick. I better start playing or I'm going to be standing next to Coach Sweeney.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, Lugs, you're always fantastic, brother. Where are you gonna be this weekend or this week? You're everywhere. I mean, I love what you're doing on social media as well. Tell everybody where they can find you.
I'm about to jump on ACC PM in 8 minutes with Mark Packer, and then we've got Florida State on the road at SMU for SMU's first ACC opener, and going to look forward to that one in Dallas.
Definitely. Well, SMU looked good against TCU. They gave me a little bit a little hope back in my preseason prediction about what I think they can do. But Luke, it's always great to see you, man. You're one of the best in the business, and we appreciate you taking some time.
I appreciate you guys having me, man. Have a good rest of your week.
Tom Luginbill, one of our favorites. I'll tell you what's not my favorite, though. The IRS. They're actually my least favorite. All right? If you're struggling with back taxes or unfiled returns or any other problem that they create, well, I got bad news for you. They're escalating their collections by adding 20,000 new agents and sending millions of demand letters. And it's collection season right now, apparently. Those are the rumors. And handling this alone can be a huge mistake. All right? It can cost you thousands of bucks. That's why Tax Network USA, they can swoop in. They will be your Bruce Wayne. They'll protect the city. They start by when you sign up. All right, they immediately contact those IRS people to get a protection order that halts garnishments, levies, property seizures, and all those other dirty words. And if you haven't filed in a while, you need amended returns or you're missing records, they'll help you out there. And then they give you a plan. Nick Saban called it the blueprint. All right, they'll evaluate your financials and create a settlement strategy to reduce or eliminate your tax debt. And for a complimentary consultation, that means free in English, call today at 1-800-958-1000 or visit their website, tnusa.com/booster, BOOSTER. That's 1-800-958 or visit tnusa.com/booster today. Don't let the IRS take advantage of you. Take advantage of them with Tax Network USA. IRS, can't stand you. Hate it. All right, the phone lines are open. We're going to get to them in 1 second, David, but I do want to talk quickly. Give me a key in your mind for this Utah-Arizona game? Don't know. I'm done trying to guess who's playing quarterback for Utah.
So I can't say Cam Rising.
I'm done. I mean, that's a great key, but when you find out, please let me know. Arizona, we know it's the Fafita and McMillan show.
Yeah.
That's about it. And Utah does a great job of making you dribble with your left. They struggled when they went and played K-State. We watched them on the road a couple weeks ago. I think Utah wins, but I am not betting another Utah game until I see Cam Rising make 2 starts in a row and finish both of them.
Well, talking about it being a Fafita and McMillan game, that's still a heck of a game.
Oh, it's a good
little
plan.
bit kind of like what Tom was saying about Colorado, right? Like that's not necessarily the best recipe to be able to win football games. And since I watched Kansas State's defense perform well against Arizona, I think Utah's an even better version of that. So I think Arizona's going to struggle on offense again. On the flip side of that, I mean, the young Wilson? The young Wilson
Young
kid
MILF
has just
hunter.
come in doing everything.
The
that
young MILF hunter.
is Isaac Wilson, isn't it?
Yeah.
We don't know what his status is.
Like
guess.
father, like son.
Hold on, we got that Jackson Dart video.
I ended up kissing my own brother.
Yeah, let's play. Maybe this is in his future. Let's play it again.
Oh, she's so ugly.
So, yes, he was cheating on me for a little over a year and a half from what I know.
Well,
Flex on him. PTP. Over what? Over all of it.
well, then Utah money line, I guess.
Yeah, it's tough to bet this Arizona football team. I can't trust a team with schizophrenia, and that's what Arizona has. I mean, you score 70 points, and you scored 26 points against North Alabama, and then you
Northern Arizona, but
whatever.
point stand.
Then you score 6 points against Kansas State. And look, I do know one thing about Utah, regardless who's at quarterback. They're going to be pretty damn good on defense, and they're physical, so I would take Utah.
What's the line right now?
Ooh, dialing
Look it
it.
up.
God, what did I
what do
see
you
that?
think?
I can't remember. Having to make this line, I mean, again, this Cam Rising situation is just
11. Utah minus 11.
You think it's
minus
11?
Yeah.
What's the over-under?
47 and
40.
a half.
I'm not touching. Not betting it. Not
Open.
touching.
Dang, that thing opened at 51.5.
Yeah, not touching. Not touching at all.
Meanwhile, Boise State, Washington State, that's 63 and a half.
Over.
Washington State
Over. Take the over.
undefeated taking
Well,
on Boise.
and it's funny, we had the caller, or somebody, I think, had a donation yesterday that was talking about Johnny Mateer, and we were like, God, I was like, I know who that is. I just can't, in my mind, see it. And they're like, the Washington State quarterback. And we're like, oh, that cold white boy.
Yeah.
Dude, I like their game. Washington State can evaluate a quarterback, buddy. They can go out and get a quarterback, that's for sure. But I don't think they can stop Ashton Jonty at Boise State. I do like the over. I think Boise State finds a way to win this one. But don't be surprised if you look up and this game in the fourth quarter is like 52-51 or something like that, and it's just a track meet. What do you think, Blaine?
I agree.
You agree?
I agree.
Concur?
I concur, doctor.
All right,
The
let's get
chat,
to
you
the
want to get
call.
some calls?
Let's get to the calls.
All right, let's go to Joseph in Las Vegas. Joseph, how the tables out there today?
Man, how you doing? First
What's
time
up,
caller,
man?
long time listener.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm calling. So my dad's UNLV alum, played
Okay.
back in 85 to 90. I'm a current UNLV student, lived in Las Vegas my whole life. So I think the argument for Sluka, it's two prongs. You got the purity of the game prong, and you have the business side of it. So I think from a purity standpoint, which my dad hates, he hates the fact that there's money in football and college football. I think college football has been dead in a long point from a purity standpoint. It's pure business now,
Yeah.
as much as I hate to admit it.
Yeah.
I think from a business standpoint, just being from Las Vegas, UNLV is desperate and he has all the leverage. So growing up, seeing UNLV lose my entire life, first time in 40 years they've gone 3-0, first time they've ever been ranked. I think we lose to Kansas without Sluka. I agree he's not going to be a UNLV football player. He's not going to be an NFL football player, and he's probably going to go to a worse team. So I think in the end, UNLV is going to cave. But I think from pure business, Sluka's making the right choice.
God, if you cave here.
Wait,
if
so you think there's a
cave
chance he
here,
comes back?
if I'm a UNLV guy it is any good, hey, I'm going to need, apparently there's going to be no tax on tips in Vegas, but I'm about to tax your ass for playing good.
So wait, Joseph, you still think there's a chance he comes back and he's the quarterback the rest of the season?
Oh, yeah.
After today?
Wow.
I think UNLV is that desperate for wins. Like,
If you go, yeah.
Like, can somebody
If you go get beat up Saturday, that 100,000 would be looking a lot. I'm like, all right,
will the
we're in
price go
Vegas.
up? Be like, well, it's
We're in Vegas.
Okay, so let me ask you this, though. What if, and again, we don't know the details, man. A lot of stuff's going to come out. At least I hope it is. I hope it just doesn't stalemate as a he said, he said situation and we don't ever find out. But what if the school has honored their commitments up to this point and he's just leveraging a 3-0 start, and then what do you do? Because then
I would hate him as a fan.
Yeah, but you hate losing too. So just run that experiment out, like Joseph. If you're saying that he could come back and play the rest of the season, but he's just blackmailing the team, holding them hostage for more money that they've already paid him.
I think that's the worst case scenario. If that comes out, I think they still probably do it. That would change the math a little bit because UNLV is going to have to deal with it later down the line with other quarterbacks they bring in. But I think UNLV is that desperate.
Yeah, I'm just having a hard time. Like, I don't know UNLV's bottom line or books or dollar amount. I'm just having a hard time figuring out how, if you're UNLV, and even in the scenario where Sluka comes in and goes, I want $100,000, like, because of the leverage I have in the way we're playing. If you think this guy is that valuable, and you're at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and you're like, we got to have this guy to do it. How do you not say, you know what? Yeah, we're going to get you the money. I just don't, I don't think you're broke. I don't think UNLV's broke. And I just wonder if this was something where they were like, you're not worth $100,000. I'm having a hard time not.
I don't think I can bring a guy back on the team who's blackmailing us. I don't care wins or I don't want that anywhere around us in this program. But the thing about it is, we don't know the truth. Okay, we don't know what was said to this kid. We don't know. We don't know if there was an agreement or a promise, if there's text messages, if there's phone calls. But the thing about it is,
promise.
You got him on campus somehow.
Here's a promise ring. I swear we'll never break up.
Look, coaches lie.
I can't wait for junior year of high school.
Hey, football coaches lie.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, they will lie to kids to get them to come to their team. It happens all the time. But now it's a little bit different because everything's in the spotlight and stuff needs to get brought out. And if you don't sign a contract, you're screwed.
Yeah, great call, Joseph.
Thanks,
we'll
Joseph.
see, buddy. Thanks for that perspective.
Call in next week. All right, let's go to Matthew in Philadelphia. Matthew, talk to us.
Hey, what's going on, boys? How are you?
What's up, man?
Not too much. Just want to say first, I actually live overseas, so I happen to be in town visiting my mom of Philadelphia, so got to call in, which is exciting.
Go. Welcome back, man.
You guys on recorded, so another quick one as well. I always have a bit of a laugh. I'm a Tennessee graduated 2013, so I was there during basically the worst in Tennessee history for all of sports. But I used to laugh. There's a famous viral video of a local guy called into the news station. He goes, long-time listener, first-time caller, Derek Dooley sucks. I'll hang up and hear what y'all have to say. So every time I hear people say first-time caller, long-time listener, I just
That's what you think about? Yeah.
Just think about it. But yeah, my quick question for you boys. Look, obviously I've been a Tennessee fan since I went to school there, started in 2009. I'm an East Coast kid, so knew nothing about SEC football, and now I'm all in it. But look, since I got on campus all those years ago, all I heard was feels like 98, boys, every single year. The question is, what am I missing for this year? Does it feel like 98 for sure, or what's Tennessee's big gap? Where am I missing it? I'm nervous that I don't know. Are we for real is the question.
Matthew, I know the feeling that you're talking about, and it just feels like everything's going too right. Like everything is going too good. And not just for football. I mean, you win a national championship in baseball. You look at this Tennessee football program, the basketball program has obviously under Rick Barnes, been really good. I know there's some things, you'll want to still accomplish in the NCAA tournament. But here's what I've tried to say to Tennessee fans, and I've gone on with Bob Baskerville, and, we live in Nashville. It's a melting pot of fans, but there's a lot of Tennessee fans. What I would say is this: the thing that would give me the most peace isn't that, hey, we're good this year, we may be championship good this year, is you guys are set up for success in the long term because you have a head coach that obviously wants to be there, He just went back and beat his alma mater on the side of the ball that he didn't really coach that much. It's pulling a Harvey Dent if I've ever seen it. You're recruiting at an incredible level at a place that has some of the deepest pockets in college football and is a great place to go to school and play and community to be a part of. And you guys are young at some really important spots. So it's not just, hey, what can go wrong this year? It's we are set up for success for a long, long time. So even if something does go wrong this year, I'm not going to sit here and worry myself to death that this was our one opportunity. This was our senior class of all these guys. We had been kind of like Michigan a little bit last year where you had all these older guys and you had been building toward this moment and you feel like we're going to regress a lot next year. That's what would give me the most peace. And you never know in college football, but regardless of what anybody says about schedule, you guys are damn good, and I think that offense is just going to continue to get better and better and better with Nico, and you guys are able to win games in ways that you haven't been able to win in the past. So that's what I would say.
And remember, in '98, that was post Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of Tennessee fans thought, man, there goes the best quarterback we've ever had. Now we're not going to win it for sure because he came back to win that and the Heisman and to beat Florida. Then it was T. Martin in '98.
That's exactly right.
There's going to be a lot of good upside. Appreciate it, Matthew.
Thanks, Matthew. Great call, buddy.
Quick last one for you guys. Dave, you got to take over the Matt Walsh show permanently, and Blaine, you channel the all my buddies from back home. Saying stuff along the lines of, who's that white bull, that corner?
Yeah. Hey, look,
exactly right.
I'm telling you, there's
say something good about me, Matthew. What do I do good? I'm just kidding.
Oh, you run the show, so
Yeah,
it's
the boss man.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Look, the only thing I know is, a white boy led the NFL in points as a corner, highest graded. So the only thing I know, times be a changing.
Yeah, I just watch Austin Reed.
Hey, great call, man. Really appreciate it. Breaking news before we take the next call. The starting running back for UNLV just left.
Just what do you mean he just left?
He's going redshirt because the NIL opportunities weren't met.
Shut up.
Ross Dellinger just broke it.
The running back hit? Okay.
So the running back.
Okay, hold on.
Now there's a pattern.
Ting, 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 ting. You lied.
There's a pattern.
Someone's been lying.
Either that or they are going to cave and the running back knows it. There's this one. Dude, this has got...
Hey,
this is awful. This is awful.
Okay.
It's not even funny, really.
Don't be afraid of the storm, okay? Learn how to dance in the rain. If you're a betting man, okay, you go bet all your money on Fresno State
yes.
right now.
Yeah, dance
Don't worry about all this other stuff. You go bet your money on Fresno State right
apart,
now.
Huh?
God, that line is going to freak out. I wonder what it's at now.
It's at 1.5. It's still open. It's 1.5 UNLV.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh. Well, can we go back and redo our best bet segment of our early best bet?
What is happening?
I don't know.
UNLV,
dude.
man.
I don't know.
Golly. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Mike in Colorado. Mike, what's going on?
Hey, boys. Good afternoon. So,
Mike, what's up?
For UNLV, if they can't get a local casino to drive $85,000 worth of chips over to there,
where's Robert De Niro? Just call him.
Yeah, exactly.
Just call him. Say that Trump said he wouldn't do it. Sure, that'd get him.
Well, why not? Right?
Yeah.
Get him some hotel vouchers and
something.
Well, it should never get to this point. Like it should have never got to this.
So, are you seriously the running back? He just did the same thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It should have never got to this point.
UNLV is falling apart. Hell, by the end of the show, they're just going to be LV.
If this is happening in Vegas, then everybody's cooked.
Yeah, that's...
If they won't pay people in Vegas, then we're in trouble. If you really cared about wins, of UNLV and Barry Odom and all these guys, it would have never got to this point. You wouldn't let somebody go out and recruit a kid and lie to him. All right, then bring him on campus and string him along for a couple weeks, and then he leaves.
Barry Odom's slowly turning into the Joker. I can feel it. But, Mike, what's up, buddy?
Yeah. So, I heard you guys talking with Luginbill, and just wanted to get your thoughts. Do you think, looking back, the same record as last year with Colorado, the hype train was out of control last year compared to this year? I know they haven't looked, as improved as I would like to see. But do you think they're in a better spot now, looking at how the conference has performed so far compared to what we were facing with the Pac-12 last year and our slate ahead? K-State or Oklahoma State, those are both home games now. We've got Cincinnati at home. Do you not think that we could revise our projections and see them getting to 6 wins more easily now?
Well, look, if we're talking about, is the Big 12 as good as a lot of people thought it was going to be? I don't think they've been as good as a lot of people thought they were going to be, and that includes Oklahoma State and Kansas State. Utah, I think that's kind of an anomaly because of the quarterback situation. They're pretty stout everywhere else. I think the Big 12, and we compare it to the ACC, I think is weaker than what we thought. So if Colorado's a little bit better and the Big 12 is worse than what we thought, I don't know how you could arrive at any other answer than Colorado's probably in a better position than they were at this point last year, or what we thought they would be going forward, Mike. So, yeah, I think the glimmer of hope may have turned into a ray of hope. I don't think it's a spotlight of hope yet, though.
And that's the reason why I wish it were a better situation, especially for Travis.
Well, it's up front, man. Like, Mike, you see it. You see it. Like, nobody's questioning.
Is it ever going to get better than this for Colorado?
That's what would worry me the most if I was Colorado.
Yeah.
Like, there's not another Travis Hunter.
This reminds me of the LSU team with Jane Daniels and Malik Neighbors. Like, you'll never get that back if you're LSU. If you had some sort of a defense, you probably could have won.
What would you say to LSU? People were like, well, no, a lot of people said we'll never have what we had with Joe Burrow and Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. And then you got it again with Jay.
You won a natty, though.
You got to build.
Oh, I get that, but it's
get Travis the Heisman, and you get 2 first-round picks next year.
It does help. It does help, but
right?
I would, if I was a Colorado fan, like Luke's was talking about, I would rather us get way better up front and be really good at the skill position than elite at the skill position and below average up front, at least in this sport.
Appreciate it, Mike.
I agree.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Great call, buddy.
Thank you, man. All right, let's go to AJ in Georgia. AJ, what's going on?
Hi.
It's Harry Carey again.
Hey, you got to stay on the line longer than you did last time. You really ran away.
I didn't run away. I said what I needed to say, and that was all.
That's all Harry needed to say. What's up, dude?
What's up?
Hey, man, Braves, 1 down, 2 to go.
I'm hoping. I almost didn't want to.
He's not a Braves fan.
You need to stop saying that, or you're actually
not
going to piss me off.
He's not. He's a Rangers fan.
Mind your own business over there.
He's a Reds fan.
No joke. You are going to piss me off.
Then it's working.
Mind your own business over there, Yankee.
This is crazy.
AJ, so can you keep our viewers abreast? Do the Braves have to? I can't even say abreast. Well, yeah. Do the Braves have to sweep?
Not necessarily. If we lose tonight, if we sweep, that's the best chance we got because we still got 3 with the Royals after that.
And then the Diamondbacks, I'm just watching them.
Well, we don't worry about the Diamondbacks. We got to beat the Mets 3 in a row, and then take 2 out of 3 from the Royals. We'll be all right.
God, can we just get to the playoffs for the love of everything holy?
AJ, quick question. With all the injuries that the Braves have had, including Austin Riley now being done, would this be the best coaching job that Brian Snitker's done as Atlanta Braves head coach? They make the playoffs?
I think so. I mean, you give credit to him and Double-A. I mean, without him, none of this is possible, right? But with Austin Riley going down, we had Acuna, obviously, Ozzie Albies out most of the season. I mean, without Chris Sale, Snitker, and Double-A, we would be in a...
Sorry.
Yeah, you know.
Well, we'll see, man.
I appreciate you guys. Love y'all.
AJ, great call, man. You, buddy.
You're a hot dog. Would you eat yourself?
I'd cover myself in mustard and relish. I'd be so delicious.
That's good. Oh, that's good. That's a great follow-up. Really good. Call yesterday.
All right, Jonah in Arkansas, talk to us.
Gentlemen, past couple of years, I've watched been to enough Razorback football games to know how inconsistent KJ Jefferson is. So I think safe bet is put your money on Colorado to win it.
I don't think it's crazy.
There's certainly matchups makes fights, styles make fights. Like TCU just dropped 430 through the air against UCF.
Yeah,
Colorado ain't gonna have to come here and run the ball. They're not going to have to. They can do what they've been doing to win this football game.
Yes, sir. So I agree with y'all. I wish the line was a lot better than it was on both sides. The defense has come along a lot better since Shiloh Sanders went out of the game against Nebraska, ironically enough, though.
Yeah.
But for this game, I think they can get it done.
Colorado, I think it's gettable. This is one of the ones that, to be honest with you, I didn't think was going to be very gettable before the season, but it's a lot. And to Mike's point that called him from Colorado, when you look at the Big 12, I mean, the Big 12 being somewhat down compared to what a lot of people thought, including us to a certain extent, does nothing but help Colorado. But, we'll see. It's just hard for me to trust teams that aren't good on the line of scrimmage.
If there's anything you're going to bet this week, you go ahead and take that over, brother.
The over in that game? Okay.
Yeah,
rock and roll. But, Jonah, great call,
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate it, man. All right, so here's a couple updates for you guys quickly. This is UNLV's athletic department made a statement. Football player Matthew Sluka's representatives made financial demands upon the university and its NIL collective in order to continue playing. UNLV Athletics interpreted these demands as a violation of the NCAA pay-for-play rules as well as Nevada state law. UNLV does not engage in such activity, nor does it respond to implied threats. UNLV has honored all previously agreed-upon scholarships for Matthew Sluka. UNLV has conducted its due diligence and will continue to operate its programs within the framework of the NCAA rules and regulations as well as Nevada state law. And then there was also a statement that was put out from the CEO of Blueprint Sports, who runs the collective, basically saying the same thing.
God, this is just an absolute... This is like when monkeys at the zoo start throwing feces at each other. This is what this feels.
It's just like it's he said, she said. That's what it's going to turn into. Like it's like, what is it? The game of Clue? It was the running back coach in the kitchen who told him, like, somebody, like, there's something's
Don't
missing.
be in the kitchen.
Don't be in the kitchen.
Something's missing from this, because there's no way this kid just popped out of nowhere and said, I want 100 G's.
Is it though? I mean, do you really have that hard
that
of a
is
time
almost
doing that?
clinically insane to me. To pop out of nowhere on a week 3 of football, say, hey man, I want 100 grand and I'm not playing.
And now the running backs left too.
Like, look, you're in trouble.
It's bad, man.
Yeah, it's not good for football at all.
Oh, man. All right. Let's go to Carter in Nebraska. Carter, what's going on?
Hey, guys, you can hear me?
Yeah.
What's up?
Carter, what's up?
Oh, so first-time caller. Listened to you guys for probably 2 years now.
Thanks, man.
So, big Husker fan, and the Illinois loss was disappointing, to say the least. Another one-score loss just makes Matt Rule 1-6 in those games. So, I guess, is it better to take the loss now than going 7-0 in Ohio State and probably getting our asses kicked?
No. I think your best chance to, make the playoff, which I know may sound kind of crazy to other people that seeing Nebraska could possibly make the playoff, but if you were 7-0 going into Ohio State and you lose that game and then you put it, the rest of it together, you got a chance to not only, play in the conference championship, but get a chance to get a berth in the playoff, especially being Nebraska. They want Nebraska in there, and possibly being able to host a playoff game. Carter, we've been around football long enough where you see crazy stuff happen. I'm just still surprised in that game, Illinois' ability to stop the run against Nebraska consistently. And then Nebraska's inability with Tony White and the way they play defense. Because if they don't get those 2 turnovers, Illinois runs the check up even more during the game. And I know if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. I was just shocked that Illinois was able to not only be even at the line of scrimmage, but be better on the line of scrimmage than you guys. That's what shocked me the most.
Yeah, I agree. And I disagreed with the call when we missed the field goal on that 3rd down and 3. Why are we taking a shot at the end zone?
Mm-hmm.
I would have rather
I agree.
been stuffed in the run and then settle for the field goal than a wide open guy and he overthrows him.
Well, listen, and again, the guy was open, but if I'm going to throw the ball in the end zone, it's not to my 4th string tight end. I know you're trying to be tricky and they would never think that, but also Dylan has to make that throw. He knows that. But another thing, and again, hindsight's always 20/20, and the guy was open. If you run the ball there, 4th and 1 is a lot easier decision to say, you know what, we're going to line up and go for this thing than 4th and 3. That is miles wide when it comes down to deciding whether to go for it and what you can run if you do go for it. So I agree with you, but kind of for a couple different reasons.
Especially because it was the backup kicker, too.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't know that. Kid had to go in, and it was his first game.
Yeah.
He's got to kick a potential game-winning field goal in front of a home crowd. That's the toughest thing to do.
But here's the thinking. Here's the thinking. All right, either we're going to throw this to our fourth-string tight end or let the backup kicker go kick it.
Yeah,
I don't like either one of those
situations. But hey, let's move forward a little bit, okay? You got a big one this week against Purdue.
Who sucks?
Who's bad. All right, if there's anything, Matt Rule can coach a team to bounce back. I think Dylan's going to play better. That line right now is at 10.5, I believe, in Nebraska. Do you feel comfortable with that line? Would you get that down to 9.5? Because I think Nebraska, this will be a bounce back week for them.
Oh, for sure. And I think Dylan's he threw out all his freshman mistakes against Illinois. I think he underthrew a lot more balls than he should have.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys couldn't run the ball against a team that couldn't stop the run to save their life. That's the thing that disappointed me the most.
Well, that hurt my soul a lot. And, we're down the third string left tackle, I think, now is starting, and it's just like,
yeah.
I'm worried about pass protection, so I really hope we can get the run going again.
Carter, we're going to see Purdue's a great team to get the run going again against, brother. Well, call in next week. Let us know.
All right, let's go to Trey in Jacksonville. Trey, talk to us.
Trey, totally escaped.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, Trey, what's up, dude?
Awesome. First time caller, long time listener.
Let's go.
I appreciate everything you guys do. I'm actually on my way right now to Tuscaloosa, so I'm excited for this weekend. Yep.
You coming to Ennis or what, dude?
Are you going to the game or are you going to come to Ennis free?
No, I'm going to Ennis.
Let's go.
The game's overrated.
No, 100% I'm going to Ennis. No, 100% I'm going to Ennis. I might go over to Galette's too.
Smart man.
I'll mainly be in Ennis. I'll mainly be in Ennis though. But the reason I called mainly was to ask if Bama can get the job done at home against Georgia. Do you think that they slide into that number one spot in the AP poll afterwards? And also, if Milroe can have a great game, do you think that he kind of moves himself up into being the Heisman front runner right now, or do you still kind of think that Travis and Cam Ward have it?
Well, it's Trey. First off, buddy, thanks for calling in. Be careful driving up there too. I know there's a lot of people driving up there. Make sure you stay safe on the way. I'm gonna. Your first question. I don't think they would put them ahead of Texas, even if they beat Georgia. I don't think they would do that because you've really got no reason to, especially after Michigan beat USC. If USC had beat Michigan, there may be a possibility, right? But we haven't had a lot of incredible mega matchups yet like this far into the season with some of these top teams playing each other, which we're going to get over the next 3 to 4 weeks. So I don't think they would go to number one. I also do think, on the other hand, if Jalen Milroe balls out against Georgia, there probably is a good chance he may vault to the top of the Heisman list right now, because while Cam Ward has been really good, while Jackson Dart has been really good, they have not played that team like Alabama has. And if you look at the numbers Jalen's putting up, they're pretty good. So I would say no to the first, yes to the second.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did for the first. I would not be surprised.
Over Texas, you think?
Yeah, most of this stuff's recency bias anyway. It's favoritism.
Well, the AP polls.
If Bama beats Georgia, even at home, I wouldn't be surprised if they slated them in for the number one spot.
Well, I would say neither one of those things are necessary, right? It's almost always the person leading the Heisman race in September doesn't win it. And then in terms of being ranked number one, it ain't going to matter. You're going to get your chance to win the SEC, which now comes with a first-round bye, or you're going to have a win over Georgia, and then you get to say, we're definitely going to be the 5, 6, or 7 seed hosting in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, you got room for a couple screw-ups when they're letting 12 in your Bama. So we'll see, Trey. But
that's true.
But be careful up there, man. We'll see you at Ennis Free.
Absolutely. I'll see you boys in the industry.
Thanks, everybody, for calling today.
Hey, great calls today.
Great call, guys.
Job on a Wednesday.
What a batch. All right, let's get to bets. We're betting baseball. Congrats to everybody who bet the Braves yesterday. Good job, gentlemen. Listen, I'm going to bet against who's ever playing the White Sox and the A's. All right, that's what I'm going to do when we're betting baseball. So give me the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, located near Los Angeles in California. That's -1.5 at +152. And then the Texas Rangers, David's 1B team, -1.5, 1B team. Notice I said that.
Thank you.
Shut your mouth, mustache man.
Jake gets it.
-1.5 at +140. 42. David.
Well, the conventional thinking here would be to take the Mets so that I could create an emotional hedge if the Braves lose, but I'm not going to do that. Braves won last night. I'm taking them again. Minus 180. Not great on the odds there, but that's what
God, minus 180. They really like the Braves.
Braves money line. And then Angels money line, minus 118. White Sox did win last night. Congrats to them. I just don't think they can do it twice.
Yeah, see, I've never felt better about picking the Angels after the White Sox beat them last night. There's no way they can win 2 in a row.
All right, put my bets up. I'm changing these.
What are you doing?
Take the Blue Jays out. Take the Blue Jays out. Give me Mets money line.
What are you doing?
Give me Mets money line plus 146.
Why are you like this?
Sneaky mustache will make you thinky.
Who are the Yankees playing?
So he's going to take the
I'm going to change my bet.
Playing the Orioles, dog.
Huh?
We ain't afraid of the Orioles.
The Yankees on the run line minus 1.5 at plus 160. And then he's riding with the Mets. I guess he's riding with the Mets at plus 146.
Let's go, baby.
Whatever.
Polar bear.
Right, Ace, what do we got? He's going to take the Mariners. Something swimming around college sports, but it ain't in Seattle. Money line at minus 150. And then the Twins, Basil, money line at minus 190.
I saw a stat today that said Shohei Ohtani's having a great year. He's having what would be Barry Bonds' 11th best year ever.
Yeah.
The question is, how's Lost going for you?
Oh, Lost, we're making our way through. We can only watch on Tuesdays and Wednesdays now because it's the only non-football nights. We're on season 5. Now I'm just trying to get to the finish line.
Yeah. Hey, watch the first episode.
Good luck.
Watch first episode of The Penguin.
Oh, I guess. Was it good?
Max.
Tell me something good.
Colin Farrell does it now.
No.
Really?
He does it. All right, if you donated today, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to get through all these donations. $5 donation from Nathan Crain. What's up, fam? Says, Matthew Sluka, you are now an Auburn Tiger. Hugh Freeze will be contacting you to get your bank information.
Nathan, we've already got enough guys that can't pass. That's the one thing we have the most of in spades. Auburn's got terrible passers in spades. Can we give you one? Here, we don't need to be taking in more. Give me the white boy from Washington State stat.
Let's go to Mr. S with a $10 donation. Said, hey, guys, people have been getting through on their calls and having trouble, and they're ending abruptly. Yesterday, I got through and spoke with the operator, and the call still ended. Hey, I'm pretty sure they're working on that.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties yesterday, or it may have been the day before. I can't remember. Listen, I'm not smart enough to understand even how a phone works other than just answering it and making calls. And now getting on the internet and going to bet online.
You put it on the line. Let's go to the $5 donation from the MC. It says, question for the Dons. That's us. What's the difference between the rivalry between UGA and Auburn and Bama and UGA and Auburn and Bama?
That's like the thing. It's like Alabama and Georgia to me has become like a heated rivalry because they've been so good lately. Auburn has actually played Georgia. I think it's called the Deep South's oldest rivalry for a reason. Auburn's been playing Georgia for so long. It's been a rivalry for so long. But when it compares to the Iron Bowl,
yeah, it's just like when Alabama and Georgia play each other, it's like two really rich people getting in an argument. You know, it's like, oh, you bought Bitcoin, I bought this, blase, this.
We have
comes to Auburn and playing other people. It's like, yeah, that kid just got a brand new bike. Our bike barely works.
Yeah, we got a unicycle.
We're poor, all right, and they're always rich. So it pisses us off because we have to work harder to be better.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a long time. Let's go to $2 donation from the Miller Man. Appreciate it. Blaine, is it built for comfort or for speed?
The Mustang.
Motorboat, son of a bitch. All right, let's go to $5 donation from Ryan. Appreciate it, Ryan. Hashtag Smack Talk Wednesday. Kansas fans stop at yellow lights even though they could have made it. Hashtag Country Roads. I love it.
West Virginia needed that one last week.
$10 donation from Booster Club Cars. Thanks, Steve. Today's 11-year anniversary of the day my dad was killed in a woodcutting accident. Not funny. Sorry, you guys have no idea how important my relationship with this show and the Booster Club is. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Steve. That sucks, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, Steve, man, praying for you, buddy. And again, it's the trust tree here. It's tough, brother.
Yep. Let's go to a $5 donation from Cole. Thank you, Cole. I'm about 20 minutes behind, but UCF can have a field day against Colorado's defense, and UCF can't stop enough drives on defense to win.
Smells like an over to me.
$2 donations from 3 in the... Not reading the end of that. Blaine, man, that is an impressive mustache. I really like it. Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.
Working on the shape today. Let's go. Mike says, guys, it's about time we have to make college football great again.
Well,
we the pioneers.
Submitted. We want to start a commission, college football commission with like 6 of us 3, and then we decide the other 3. We got some candidates in mind, but they're going to have to go through, they're going to have to get approved by Congress, just like you would do for the education department, whatever. We need to sit down, and it's us actually asking you the questions, not anybody from Congress, but we get to sit in their chairs, and you have to sit in the table.
All right, $5 donation from Tanner Miller. Appreciate it, Tanner. Is there a reason I shouldn't put the rent on BYU plus 3.5? Sounds like free money to me, but this is a letdown game. That's a big win last week.
Here's where I'm at on BYU. I want to believe. Like, I'm so close to believing in BYU. You get past Baylor, and I know Baylor's not that good, but it's the offensive turnovers. If you can show me that you're not going to turn it over, and this is like y'all now, I'm going to hop on the train. I just need to see it a little bit longer, right? Going down the tracks.
Gotta love Major Payne. $2 donation from Humpin' Badgers. Should college mascots be eligible for NIL deals?
College mascots, maybe. You get in the basement.
Yeah. That's not the first time you said that.
All right, last donation, $5 donation from I Am Him. Says, hey, guys, love the show. You definitely have my subscription after this. Right now, if you had to pick who would win the Natty.
Who'd win the Natty?
Horns up.
Go with Ole Miss.
Horns up.
Go with Ole Miss.
Well, I wasn't going to say
Go with SMU.
I was going to say UNLV before this morning. No, right now, I'm going to say it's probably Texas to me, but watch out for Ole Miss, man. I'm telling you, I know the schedule ain't been good, but look, hold on.
Bama.
This is why I think Ole Miss is going to win. Can we play the video?
Alabama.
Can we play the video that we played to start out the show?
Give them to me.
Really?
Pull it up real quick.
You'll see it this week.
Pull that bad, but you want to know who I think is going to win it?
Uh-oh.
You want to know who? This guy. Play the video.
So, yes, he was cheating on me for a little over 1.5 years from what I know.
Yeah.
Jackson is that man. Jackson is that man.
RPO.
Jackson is that man. All right, Paul.
Terrible stuff.
Is NIL ruining college football?
Oh, they said yes.
Yes or no?
David,
101%.
99%.
Yes, 64%.
Oh, okay.
No, 36.
Good.
All right, great stuff, everybody. Appreciate you. Great calls as usual. Tom Luginbill, shout out to our sponsors, Bet Online, Tax Network USA. That's an interesting combination there. We appreciate you guys. Got a great show for you tomorrow as well. Make sure you stay locked in. Hit that subscribe button. And like the chances of UNLV's NIL department running smoothly, we're going. Gone. I've gotten so good at that, maybe because I do it every